Expanding business into global markets is quite challenging. Language, cultures, economies, and the way of doing business are quite different from country to country. So to have the best experience and not offend, it's important to understand and learn some basic business etiquette before you go. So in this video, I will share with you 10 tips for doing business in my native country, Brazil. Tip number 1, making a good first impression. If you are considering doing business in Brazil, it's essential to know the native language of the Brazilian people is Portuguese, not Spanish. Although Brazil is the largest country in Latin America, Brazilians are not considered Hispanic. Most Brazilians won't even understand why I'm mentioning it here, but in America this is very confusing for most people. Hispanic refers to someone who speaks the Spanish language. Hispanics are people from or with ancestors from Spain, Mexico, Central America, and South America, except Brazil. Brazilians are Latin Americans, but they are not Hispanic. Brazil was colonized by Portugal. So before you invest in learning a few phrases, be sure you are learning the correct language, Portuguese. Tip number 2. Relationship. Building relationship is key to successful business in Brazil. Brazilians are very social, and therefore business meetings usually begin and end with a fair bit small talk, even unrelated to the business at hand. This informal conversation is essential to building relationships and rapport and should not be rushed. At times, this can be at odds with American business sensibilities that like to get down to business. So the more you can relax and enjoy the process, the better you will connect with your Brazilian counterparts. Tip number 3. Brazilians tend to work in close proximity. It's not uncommon in business for Brazilians to touch your arm or your back. Backslapping is quite common. Actually, this was one of the first things I noticed when I moved to the US and started to experience the American culture. Brazilians also have excellent eye contact and can hold a steady gaze, so some people may find this uncomfortable or intimidating. To conduct business in Brazil, it's important that you adapt as quickly as possible so you are not misinterpreted as an unfriendly person. Number 4. Hold face-to-face meetings. Brazilians value face-to-face conversations. Rather than the impersonal nature of email, plan on meeting face-to-face because Brazilians really value the personal connection. Brazilian communication is often informal, and interruptions, which are common, indicate interest and enthusiasm. This is part of the Brazilian business culture and should not be considered offensive as it may be in other cultures, like in China, for example. Also, don't be afraid or feel uncomfortable talking about business details in social settings. Deals are often made in social situations, such as cocktail party or a dinner party at someone's home. Tip number 5, business negotiations. When it comes to business agreements, Brazilians take their time negotiating. Expect them to review all details and do not rush them or appear impatient. Tip number 6, bureaucracy. Brazilian bureaucracy is very complex, so working with a local partner will help to mitigate Brazilian bureaucracy. Tip number 7, have a flexible schedule. Very important. Flexible punctuality is many times a characteristic when doing business in Brazil, sometimes making it difficult to schedule 2 or more meetings at the same day. Brazilians are known to make changes, even to cancel on short notice. So when doing business in Brazil, keep in mind it's always smart to keep a flexible schedule and also to have some extra time for last-minute meetings. You don't want to miss these last-minute meetings because they can be the key for the success of your business in the country. Tip number 8, receiving gifts. Different than other countries, if you receive a gift in Brazil, Brazilians expect you to open it right away in front of the person that gave it to you. So don't be shy, open it and let the person know if you like it or not. Tip number 9, invest in long-term relationships. Brazilian culture is a relationship-driven culture. So like I mentioned before, Brazilians really value personal relationships. So embrace, accept, and foster long-term relationships when doing business in the country. No doubt this will serve you well in the long run. Tip number 10, coffee, coffee, and coffee. Brazilians drink a lot of coffee. Brazil is the world's largest coffee producing country. Brazil exports high quality coffee all around the world. So coffee is a big part of the Brazilian culture. And that's something we Brazilians are very proud of. So when in Brazil, you should expect to drink lots of coffee. During meetings and visits, you'll be offered coffee, and unless you have a good reason to decline, they will keep offering. If you are not currently a coffee drinker, you'll become one once you begin doing business in Brazil. And then expect to be hooked because Brazilian coffee is so rich and delicious. You'll fall in love with it. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and also share it if you know someone else who are planning to do business in Brazil. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.